Hello and welcome back to my channel. This is Mike, and what I'm out doing today is enjoying a beautiful, crisp summer morning here in eastern Pennsylvania. It is 72 degrees outside with low humidity. I can't believe it's this nice in August. So I'm just out tooling around a little bit in the 2008 Honda Accord. For those of you who are new to the channel, I have a 2019 Mustang on order. It's a GT convertible in ruby red. I just got the exciting news that my 2019 Mustang is actually in production with a scheduled delivery date of October 25th. So right now my mind is awash with lots and lots of different things that I could do either while I'm waiting for this car to come in or once I get the vehicle. One of the things I'd like to look into is cleaning up my garage and possibly finishing the floor. I know Rust-Oleum has been a company that has been offering epoxy and other hard finishes for many years. It looks like these floor finishes are very durable, but some of my concerns are that they can be extremely slippery when wet. There's also some instances where they will fail. They will fail under the pressure of tires. So I'm going to look into the durability of these. And I also think that doing some lighting in there would really enhance the experience of working in that garage. So we're going to be looking into some LED lighting for the garage, and then maybe cleaning things up and reorganizing a little bit so it can become a place to work on the vehicles. All right, let's talk about add-ons for this car that I'm considering, which are performance related. The Resonator is a large exhaust canister that's right down in the belly of the car, and one of the popular modifications is that people get rid of that Resonator and they replace it. They replace it with either an X pipe or an H pipe. There are some tone differences. Basically, one sounds differently than the other. The goal is to open up the breathing of the exhaust and, in theory, giving you a little bit more performance. So that is one of the modifications that I am considering doing. From what I understand, you can unbolt part of the exhaust when you replace the Resonator with an X pipe or an H pipe, but there are two pipes that need to be sawed off. Call it emotional right now. I just have a funny feeling about hacking at something that's on this car, especially something made of metal. Here's an item that I've thought about, but I have to tell you it's going to be off in the future, at least after I've had a chance to drive the car for a while. And that is an aftermarket shifter. A really crisp performance shifter does sound like it might be a whole lot of fun. But I want to get the car and see how it works. I've heard criticisms with the 2018 shifters, namely the shift forks having a problem. I've heard some theories that there's not a problem with the fork, rather the clutches sometimes are finicky and people break the forks by trying to jam the car into gear. I certainly hope that there are no problems in 2019, but I am looking forward to seeing what the shifter looks, what the shifter feels like. Another car modification, I don't know if it's an upgrade as much as it is a modification, is I've heard many criticisms of the clutch springs. The premise here is that Ford puts a return spring in the clutch pedal that gives the clutch pedal a kind of odd return feel. And sometimes people simply remove the clutch spring. Other times I've seen videos where people recommend replacing that clutch spring with a less aggressive clutch spring. I had a Mustang 2, a 1976 Mach 1 Mustang with a V8 and a 4-speed, and the clutch on that thing was so heavy, you actually had to brace yourself in the back of the seat and kind of lean up against it and give that clutch a good hard shove just to engage it. You get used to it, but I've had many other manual transmissions after that, and the clutch pedals had a nice even feel. So I will take a critical look and make an assessment on the clutch when we get the car, and we will see how it feels. And so there's the possibility that we might do some sort of adjustment on the clutch spring, which I will document and try to bring to the channel, let you know exactly what I think. Let's talk about some accessories. One of the things I'm interested in doing is adding a spoiler to this car. I like to play around in Photoshop, and one of the things that I would really like to do is just add a little bit more profile to the lines of this car, and one of the ways I think I can do that is by adding a spoiler. One of the things I'm going to need to look at when I pick out a spoiler is to make sure that it is compatible with the convertible. Now, adding a spoiler brings up a few questions in my mind. The first question that I have is, will adding a spoiler to the trunk change the weight of the trunk and somehow require that the springs that hold up the trunk, if there are any springs, will it require that those springs be changed in any way? One of the last things I want is to put a spoiler on a trunk that's otherwise balanced and stays open, and to push it past the edge where it could easily fall down and hit somebody. So I'm very curious to find out if adding that spoiler, adding the extra weight, will make any appreciable difference on whether or not that trunk stays open, and if it does make a difference, what's the modification? Question number 2. The convertible differs from the fastback in that it has an antenna for the radio. It has like the old school wire antenna, and that's on the back of the car. So one of the concerns that I've heard is some of the aftermarket spoilers run the risk of banging into that antenna when you open up the trunk. Those antennas are fairly flexible, but if the spoiler was banging into it on a regular basis, maybe I'm a little bit concerned that it might wear off the finish where the antenna might make contact with the spoiler. So those are my 2 areas of concern with the spoiler. I love my wife, and she is the voice of reason, and she's been telling me now forever, stop accessorizing in your mind. Why don't you wait, get the car, see how you like it? And you know what? That makes sense. But it's not as much fun. Another option I'm considering, which is probably 95% cosmetic, and from what I gather maybe about 5% functional, is adding what they call a style bar. Now remember, this car is a convertible, so these style bars kind of look like a roll bar, but they really do not serve as any type of protection. They add a high brake light, which will help you be noticed, and I think they add a kind of nice retro looking feel to the convertibles. Now, when I said that they're 5% functional, what I mean is that some advertisers say that they add some more structural rigidity to the body of the car. Now, I understand that when you get a convertible, you are giving up some strength in the form of structural rigidity. When you have the hard top, you basically have that cage that goes corner to corner, front to back, side to side, and angle to angle. It is extra bracing that is making that car rigid. So with convertibles, in theory, if you put one of these style bars that goes in the back seat area and goes across the top of the car, it's very possible that you might get some torsional rigidity added to the car. And if there's a possibility of it being structural, what is the best brand? What is the best design to put in the car? So, of course, I'm interested in anyone's feedback. Leave it in the comment section below. I gotta tell you, I'm just having such fun driving that I don't know where the hell I am. Related to the roll bar, one of the things I've seen advertising is an accessory that goes onto the style bar, and that is a screen, which is a wind deflector. And these wind deflectors, they don't cost that much, and it looks like netting. And what it does is, I guess it goes over that bar, and it creates a virtual wall like a diffuser, which keeps the air from buffeting and going back and hitting the passengers. The premise being that it will give you a more still, more quiet, convertible, top-down experience while you're in the car. So, you know, it's hard to tell from the YouTube videos and from the commercials I've seen. The reason I'm saying it's hard to tell is in the videos that I've seen, I have to be a little bit critical of them. They showed the before picture, and they have two women with long hair, and the windows are down and the top is down, and the hair is just flying all over the place. And they have a woman turn around and she puts up the diffuser, but as she's putting up the diffuser, the other woman puts up the windows. I can't tell whether it's the diffuser or whether it's because of the windows. Please, people, if you're going to show demonstrations, introduce one variable at a time. Just for science's sake, one variable at a time, and that way we will have a good idea of whether or not it's the diffuser that is causing the calming effect, or whether it's just the windows. Two more things I just thought of that I really want to get on this car. One of them is clear bra. Just the other day I was driving in New Jersey, and I was a few cars behind a rock truck. And then, I'm assuming from the rock truck, a big old rock bounces on the highway, bounces up in the air, hits my hood, hits the top of the windshield right behind the rear view mirror, and made such a thud when it hit both of those. I knew it was going to leave a mark, and it absolutely did leave a mark. Now, this is my 2008 Honda Accord, and, you know, while I like it to look good, I really wasn't too upset when it hit. I'm just like, oh, that kind of sucks. And immediately I thought to myself, well, at least that didn't just happen in the new car. I'm going to freak out if it's going to happen in the new car. So I am going to look into getting the clear bra on the parts of the car that are most vulnerable. So that research project will start very soon, and I will report back on what I found and what I intend to do, and hopefully share some videos with you when we actually get it installed. Hey, I just figured out where I am. That's so awesome. I know where I am, and it's a good place to be. All right, awesome, I know where I am. Item number 2 is window tint. I am not as worried about other people seeing in as I am about the car staying cool. I am not one of those guys that wants to tint this thing limousine dark. I don't want to affect my view out of the vehicle tremendously, especially at night. And I know this is going to make me sound like an old fart, but my night vision isn't what it used to be. And all you youngins, you can laugh if you want to, but one of these days you're gonna be there and you're gonna know what I mean. So being able to see out is kind of important. Another question I have when it comes to accessorizing, this one isn't that much fun, but the question is whether or not I should get a spare tire. The car does not come with a spare tire, nor did I opt for an additional spare tire for this car. The car does come with a, I call it like a fix-a-flat kit. It has a battery-operated compressor, or I guess a compressor that would plug into the electrical system of the car, and that compressor is somehow integrated with some sealant, some fix-a-flat, the premise being if you do get a blowout, it's enough to patch the tire and be able to drive to a place where you can have the tire properly fixed or replaced. So the question is this: should I purchase a spare tire, and should I get a jack and keep it in the car? What do people do? What are the options for getting something like this aftermarket? if I recall correctly, the spare tire for this car was something in the neighborhood of $400. $400 is $400 spent somewhere else on the car. So I'll be looking into that, and I'm interested in what other people do with their vehicles in regard to spare tires. So if you have any advice or have any comments, please feel free to leave it in the comment section below. Well, I'm going to wrap up this little vlog. Thanks very much for watching. If you like the channel, please subscribe. Click on like if you like the video. I welcome your suggestions. I'm glad you're joining me on this exciting journey of getting a new vehicle. And I would just love to hear from you. So thanks again. Have a great day. Be well, be safe, and I will talk to you soon. Bye-bye. Hey guys, if you like my video, hit the subscribe button, click like, tell your friends. All right, here comes a car, gotta move.